Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is just a sketching video of Janitorial Services episode 64. I figure, I can create some videos of me creating my ongoing comic series. And so I figure I'll give it a shot. And so I am recording each phase. So the sketching phase, which you're seeing right now. And then there will be another video on the inking phase, and then the last phase, which is coloring, which I've just started. I want to say perhaps 3 or 4 episodes ago. I figure I would try to, just change it up. You know, keeping it black and white in the beginning was a good challenge, and it still is. Just trusting, laying down solid um, inks. And granted, it is all digital, so I mean, if I if I ever made a mistake, I could just simply hit the shortcut key undo. But it was still a challenge to trust just setting down a lot of inks and just developing my inking abilities. And I'll still continue to do just black and white pieces, and those would be the doodling sketches series. So I think those will always, well, knock on wood, uh, will always be in black and white, whether it's digital or traditional. I think I'll just keep that. So that way, I'm exercising different muscles from coloring and watercoloring and stuff like that, and just inking. So enough of all that. Thanks for watching this video. It's only 32 minutes. I'm not going to speed it up. And if you think that's a good idea, you can leave a comment in the comment section. I know it would be cool just to talk through everything, and I may do that, but I won't talk through the entire video. And I'm doing it this way because it allows me to just be a lot more relaxed when I'm talking and not trying to um, engage a conversation while I'm talking. And it's not that I can't chew gum and walk. It's just sometimes I may get more caught up in the topic that I'm talking about, or the composition, and so something falls off. So it's either I'm not drawing as much or I'm not talking as much. But this way, the drawing is done, and I can just commentate over it, either for the entire video or just for a portion of it. So be sure to subscribe. I would appreciate that. And I'll leave all of the chyrons at the end of the video, where to follow me, Facebook, Patreon, all of that stuff. So here, I don't typically start with the dialogue boxes, but if I am not necessarily struggling, but if the composition, if it's not coming to me very freely, then I will put in the dialogue boxes. That way, I can set the panel appropriately. So that way, my composition is not going to run into my dialogue box, and my dialogue box won't have to be shrunk, and then the dialogue is not legible, or so I try to, if I am uncertain with how I want to position my scene, I will put in the dialogue box. And that's why, if you can look to the top right, so this is one of the cons of not doing this live, because I would zoom in, and maybe I'll do that in the edits, who knows. But anyway, but you look to the top left, and you can see where my script, and so that just helps me lay out where the dialogue balloons are going to be, and then how many balloons, and then that also will help me know how I'm going to create the layout, just what items I'm going to put into the panel, because what things are going to be blocked out, and if they're going to be blocked out, then, what's the point of putting them in unless they are specifically going to help the overall composition, so that's all healthy to do, and so encourage you guys to do that too as well. I know when I first started out, I would just draw, and then dialogue balloons was an afterthought, and so sometimes I had just funky, wonky dialogue shapes, and this is when I was just doing it traditionally. And so it's like, geez, so there's no way to go in and digitally shrink a certain image and reposition and all that. So I would, always paint myself in a tight spot, because the lettering will be all squished. And I'm like, I did it again. I just went and drew the scene without, planning ahead and laying out the dialogue balloons, all the captions too, like, meanwhile, or back at the, so all those stuff, it's all like rookie mistakes. If you're just starting out raw and haven't had any formal or self-training, make sure all of your dialogue stuff that needs to be at the forefront of your panel or panels, make sure you lay those out first, so that way you'll know how to construct your page and your panels. And so here, and to the bottom right, I have like 3 layers, like sketch 1, sketch 2, sketch 3. And the reason why I did that is because, hey, I'm working digitally. Why not utilize the benefits of working digitally? So that way, typically I think I'm in sketch 2. Typically sketch 1 is for my background, whatever's in the background. Then sketch 2 is the characters, and then I'll use a different color, which you will eventually see. And then sketch 3 may be like sound effects or additional images in the background that I want to have the freedom, if I choose to move them around, manipulate, delete, then I don't have to worry about trying to erase around the other finished sketches. And so like I said, if you're working digitally, you can take advantage of that. Some folks who work digitally, they still apply the traditional methods of, hey, they're just gonna have one sketch layer, and I can see the pro with that, as far as not having to worry about what layer am I drawing this on, or snap, I drew it on the other sketch layer that I didn't want, and but to each his own. I still occasionally would make mistakes drawing on another layer not intended for that composition. And so but yeah, so here in Janitorial services, I just usually start with a script, and while I'm writing out the script, I just visualize certain scenarios for the panel. I'm not sure if I'm going to go to 2 panels. One panel really forces my hand to be concise and economical with my compositions and the dialogue, and so because even in my writing, I could be long-winded, and then that carries over too in my drawing, where I'm like, okay, 6 panels later, we're getting to the meat of the crust of the issue, the crux, the crust, not the crust. That's like pizza. Wouldn't be the crust of the issue. Is it the crust? The crust? Man, I don't know. Well, the main thing of the issue. Like I said before in previous videos, I don't know why I keep attempting to recall analogies because I constantly just jack them up. So, um, but yeah, so this is that. I was thinking also with some of these videos, I can tie them into life and drawing as well, and not necessarily have that just for when I'm doing the dueling sketches. So I don't think I'm going to do that for this video because we're already 10 minutes in. Um, Perhaps I can do. Hey, if you have any questions that um, or concerns you may have outside of drawing or art, that you would feel free to anonymously drop in the comment section. Feel free to do so, and it'll be my privilege to try to attempt to shed some light. Or just give uh, advice. Not a psychiatrist or anything like that. Just life experience, advice, and instructional experience from those who's lived uh, 2 times my lifespan at this point. Advice as well, and so yeah. So if it's a question about, hey, do I leave a job that I don't like, or should I get married and just dating after 6 months, or just anything. And if it's about art, that's totally fine. But anything life oriented, that's ultimately why I'm doing these videos, so that I could reach out and if in any way just be a sounding board, really. Um, you know, and so you may not even want a response. You may just want to just air out, hey, this is what's been happening. And I know social media can be toxic, and if other people see a comment, then they'll reply, and so that it's really tricky how to do that. But I guess if you uh, DM me on my account, maybe that would be more anonymous and less uh, exposed to the jerks out there. But then you never know. Some other folks may be thinking of something, and they're afraid to voice it, and having someone else voice it may be helpful. And that's why I'm going to just randomly to just talk on certain topics, because that's a difficult thing to put out, a personal thing that you may be struggling with or contemplating. And so I'm going to try to do my best just to try to touch on as much topics that come to mind, um, so that way, if someone's thinking or going through a certain issue, hopefully, that topic conversation can coincide with what uh, you're going through uh, uh, during that particular moment. So yeah, so it's 13 minutes now. I think I will just let this ride out. As you can see, I was actually like looking out the window. So my table, where my table is located, there's a window out looking at the woods, and so that was kind of a tranquil moment. So I wasn't even looking at the playback on my editing screen. And so, as you can see, I'm sketching Heather, and as you can see, I'm using a different, I think a different layer. Uh, and I'm not sure if it's at this point where I realize that, oh snap, I just sketched everything on one layer, because I wanted to increase the height of the agent, that's the character on the right, closer to the dialogue balloon above his head. And I think everything moved, and I was like, ah, snap. So I had to make a copy of the layer that I drew it on, and then the intended layer, merge that with the copy layer, and then erase the sketch of the duplicated sketch. And so, but yeah, here I go back and forth just to Dusty. I can draw Dusty from memory fairly easy. It's just that I have like so many different characters, even stuff that I'm not currently posting, and so sometimes I'll forget. Okay, is it the top part of his hair the longest length, or is it the bottom? And so I just flash back and forth just to make sure I'm getting it right. And for Heather, she's a fairly, excuse me, new character. I think I brought Heather in for the to date for the last maybe 15 episodes, and so I think so. So at least for the first 50 episodes, it was always just Dusty and just random characters. And so for Heather, particularly for her hairstyle, I just go back and forth to make sure I get it right. Doesn't have to be exactly, but at least there's consistency. And so, and the more you, if you're creating new characters, sometimes it's just helpful, even if it's not the project you're working on. If you just want to sketch, and it's almost like just doing a cardio workout. I'm just going to sketch this character. It's for nothing. It's just for practice. I think that's healthy and helpful to do. Why is that healthy? I don't know why I say it's healthy to do. I think I just got caught up with the whole cardio thing. It's helpful. I don't know. Perhaps it can be healthy. I'm not sure. I guess maybe healthy to your artistic regimen. I don't know. I was way in the weeds on that one. But it will definitely be helpful. That way, you have that muscle memory. Okay, hey, this is where the hair style will look like if I'm drawing from a left to right, three-quarter perspective, right to left, head on, from the back, the side, left side, right side, top view, so you just practice. And I'll be honest with you, I don't do that as much as I'm saying it should be done. I just don't have time, and maybe I should make time, but I'm just like, I need to create, and so so I don't have a whole lot of time. Before, I actually used to do that when I was still, excuse if you heard that beep. That was a text from my wife. I used to. Anyway, I used to work on just constant different poses, different not uniform, like clothing and all that. And but I had time. I was just me, schoolwork, got homework done, and draw. And then video games in between, and so it was just very simple life. So I don't have that time, but I still try to exercise that muscle memory by just sketching, and the more you create, you will develop that too as well. Because and especially in the beginning, if you're very free in the beginning, creating your character, you will develop that muscle memory, and I did for Dusty, because there were several different iterations of his head shape and how I wanted him to look, and sort of like a fairly ambiguous ethnicity, um, and so particularly when it was black and white, and so well, I guess not necessarily ambiguous, but just neutral, whatever. Not even neutral. I don't even know why I said that, but uh, I just wanted it to be fairly simple, but yet distinctive. And if you read any sort of like graphic communications, you will read on how to make your character or characters stand out. Sometimes you'll hear about having a distinctive silhouette. Sorry, it keeps on dinging. Um, but yeah, but above all that, you want to draw a character that you are comfortable with. And depending on your time, if you have a lot of time, you can add more details and more accessories. But if you don't, and you still want your character to be compelling without the extra detail work that just going to come with you sketching and just drawing and sketching, and and seeing, okay, hey, this works, okay, this doesn't work. How long does it take me to sketch? And if it's taking me like 20 minutes just to sketch a head or a face, maybe I'm taking way too much time. And so yeah, just work it out, and then the one that stands out to you and catches your attention, then work on that one. And again, like I said, like different angles, different headshot angles, facial expressions, because that all helps you with getting familiar with the anatomy of your characters. And so and then that's going to help when you start to draw. You'll still flip back to just to make sure that, hey, I'm getting the anatomy accurately, and particularly to make it distinctive, but at least the base, the fundamental structure, construction of your character, their clothing, what they would typically wear. Yeah, you'll have that foundational muscle memory grounded. And so, all right, guys, I said I was going to stop. I will let this ride out, maybe drop some music in. Thanks again so much for tuning in and watching this. And like I said, if you're on the side of, hey, if you just do more of like a speed video, where it's just a few minutes, let me know. I know, some folks may want to see just a real-time stroke and creation process. 'Cause sometimes the speed videos, it's so quick. It's cool to see the construction of a piece. But I know sometimes for me, I'm always eager to see the step-by-step creation process in real time. So anyway, guys, thanks again. Hope you have a great afternoon, evening, morning, night. Until next time, grace and peace.